Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of Gardening at Crocs. Have you ever wondered how your garden soil fares against everybody else's garden out there? How about the next door neighbor who makes his living off of farming? How does your garden soil compare to those mass-produced crops? Well, today I am going to go through and I'm going to put my garden to the test. How do I compare with my next door neighbor out there that has a cornfield, a bean field? They rotate about every other year. This last year it was corn, this year it shall be beans, I bet. But how does my soil fare against his? He's mass producing crops for a profit. I am not mass producing crops for myself. Let's get started with this. So my idea here is to go through, and I got two of these tests. These are soil savvy tests. I'm not affiliated with them, but I believe this is out of the University of Washington. Basically, you can order these off of Amazon, and it will give you a plethora of knowledge that you need to know about your garden. Probably more so than what you need to know about your garden. So without further ado, I opened one of these already. Which one did I open? So without further ado, let's get these guys opened up and we'll show you what's in the box here. Alright, so you got the box. You have a card here that you need to fill out. And the card's got a section to send off and a section to keep for yourself. So on here they got lawn or turf, vegetable garden, ornamental flower garden. So I think they give you recommendations on what to do if you're running low on nutrients, or they give you a baseline, on what your garden should have. So yeah, we are sending this into Washington. So in here you get a little cup, a measuring scoop, prepaid label to ship, then a container with a little ball in it, and it's got some liquid in there. It says careful handling, do not remove contents, just leave water and capsule and vial, just add your soil. So what they suggest to do is go around to your garden and take out different samples from various places, so that way you're not by chance getting a place that's highly concentrated with nutrients or a place that doesn't have any nutrients. So I walked around my garden, took out some samples from several of the beds, and yes, it is wet out there. So that's the sample from the garden. And then I did a little walking out in the field, and I went out in the field and got some samples from the field. So yeah, it is a little wet, but I don't think that's going to matter because these things have water in them. So I just need to be able to keep these things separate. And we'll kind of go from there. So initial thoughts. How do you think I'm going to fare? Well, I don't know. I thought maybe being that these things are, the samples are taken like less than 100 feet away. I would think that we're pretty close. So first off, one thing I did notice, I don't know if you can see the difference in there. This one right here on my left, I don't know how it shows up on the camera. This guy right here, that's from a garden. This guy right here is from the field. Can you guys tell the difference on the color? Look how dark my garden is compared to that field. The texture also is a lot different. Yes, it's sopping wet, but the texture of my garden is more like a crumbly type of soil. It's got like air pockets and different things in it. This guy right here is more or less slimy. I don't know how to better explain it, but it is like a slimy mud. So, and I did go down probably maybe about an inch and a half, 2 inches on this guy. So I don't know. We will see on how the test results come out. So without further ado, let me get these guys packaged up, and we will go to the post office, ship these off. And then I'm going to it's probably going to take at least a week for these guys to get to where they need to go. So once we get those to where they need to go, I would guess it takes me another week for them to come back. So we'll be back in about 2 weeks, and we'll see what we have for results. Hey everybody, we're back. It's been about a week actually since I put all that, sent off the soil samples and everything else. They got back to me pretty quick, so which is pretty impressive because it's well over 1,000 miles to Washington. So I had the results right here in the wind. How did we do? This is going to be interesting. So if you kind of just take a brief look at the two charts, you'll notice one thing that stands out to me. The first thing that stands out to me is the fact that my garden is loaded with nutrients. I have way above on some of the lines. So that actually could actually be a problem in itself. Sometimes having excess nutrients does take away from all the other nutrients. It prevents other nutrients from absorbing everything. So that's one thing I might have to look at to do. But let's get down to the results here real quick. I noticed the field behind me, which is that field right back there. I did notice that they were deficient in 5 nutrients, and I was deficient in 3. So the field was essentially deficient in nitrogen, which I was deficient in as well, which is kind of a commonplace. That's an easy fix. It's real simple to put nitrogen into the field, into the ground. They do it with synthetic nitrogen fixers. I will probably do mine with an organic type of nitrogen fix. Man, I hope the wind is not blowing in your ears, man. It is super windy. Just push the camera over. I may have to go inside to do this. I'm gonna have to do this inside. That wind is just too much. After nitrogen on that graft is the phosphorus, which definitely helps out with the flowering and fruiting. I am way above on that. The field is on the upper echelon above that too. The potassium, which really helps with, I always rule out the potassium as the roots, also helps out with cell walls, different things like that. The field and I are way above on that one. So I don't know if that's a product of the soil or what, the native soil. I do have a little bit of native soil blended in with some different nutrients on my soil as well. The next one up is magnesium, which is pretty much for, photosynthesis and chlorophyll, different things like that. I am way above. The field is low on that. Sulfur, also for photosynthesis. We are both in the upper echelon of the range for that. The next one on the list that we want to take a look at is iron. We are both in the acceptable level for that. I am a little bit high on iron. Then manganese, which helps with photosynthesis. Again, I am above on that. The field is right there. The next 3, the field is lower on, which is zinc, copper, and boron. So basically, zinc and copper, they're used for enzyme activity to help the plant grow. The field is way low on that. I am right in the middle on that. The copper and boron, I am a little bit low, but not as low as what the field is. And copper does the enzyme activity as well, and the boron's for cell wall formation as well. The next thing is one of the biggest ones you want with this. If you get anything out of your tests, I think the pH is going to be huge. So I am right almost dab smack in the middle of the 6 to 7 range. So I'm 6.4. Matter of fact, vegetables typically like it a little bit acidic. So leaning towards the 6 side is probably a little bit better than leaning towards the 7 side. The field is leaning 6.19, which might be a little bit, even just a little bit more acidic than what I am. So all in all, while you may have the graphs may show looks like a huge graphic difference, all in all, I don't really know if there's a huge desperation of a gap there. So We both need to have our nitrogen, and we probably both need to look at a little bit of some trace minerals to put in our garden. Now, I feel like over time, my trace minerals will continue to grow and grow and grow and grow with things. So I think we'll be in good shape. I do feel like we have the excess of minerals. I definitely think this is going to be helpful for me this year, as I know I don't need to put any super triple phosphate in, different things like that. I think I'll be doing fine with just doing some common nitrogen applications, some organic nitrogen, and also doing my regular, cut and drop, my comfrey, my compost from the garden, from the kitchen, and everything else. Putting that all out there, I think I'm going to be in good shape. So all in all, I feel like this is a very good thing. I am going to have a more in-depth video on all of these and doing an in-depth video on what my garden needs and what I do to my garden to achieve these in the future. So if you like that, if you want to see that one, hit that subscribe button, click that bell, you get a notification whenever I post a new video. Hopefully that'll be done in the next week or so. We'll see how things work out. As always, give me a like, give me that thumbs up, leave me a comment down below. Have you guys ever done a soil test in your garden? What do you think your soil results will be if you haven't? What have your soil results been if you have done a soil test? Cheers, everybody, and God bless.